When Triumph the insult comic dog first growled his immortal line, "For me to poop on," he did more than land a laugh. He codified a ritual. Beneath the cigar smoke and latex, the puppet spoke a primal language, mockery as defecation, laughter as purification, insult as excretion. His was a theology of relief. Every episode followed the same liturgy: inflate the pompous, sanctify the celebrity, and then, at the height of reverence, drop the line, poop on it all. It was low comedy with high function, a scatological sermon against pretension. The joke worked because it was stupid and because it was right. In that single phrase, Triumph reclaimed the body for the age of media. He made television fart again. The culture had grown sleek, airbrushed, corporately deodorized. Triumph reminded us that to laugh was to leak, that every empire of taste needs its own dog with a cigar and a digestive system. He was the last holy fool of broadcast, the late-night court jester allowed to relieve himself upon the stage of power. Yet the fool's task, in every mythology, is sacred and a little dangerous. The medieval jester mocked kings to keep them human. Rabelais made giants shit to remind us that all knowledge has an odor. The clown's excrement was the kingdom's conscience. When the fool stops laughing with the king and begins laughing as the king, the world turns upside down. And that, precisely, is where Triumph's lineage leads. Enter Donald Trump, the fool who forgot he was joking. Where Triumph's scatology functioned as satire, Trump's became sovereignty. He didn't steal Triumph's punchline. He fulfilled it with gold leaf and camera crews. The phrase that once punctured pride now buttressed it. The puppet's mockery turned into the president's method. Trump's persona inverted Triumph's entire cosmology. Where Triumph mocked from below, Trump mocked from above. Where Triumph punctured, Trump performed inflation. Where Triumph expelled ego, Trump excreted authority. The excremental energy that once relieved us now ruled us. What began as parody metastasized into power. So, the recent AI video of King Trump piloting a golden jet and dropping feces upon protesters completes this whole metamorphosis. You see, this act isn't just absurd, it's like theological. It fuses Triumph's low humor with Trump's high dominion. The jester's dump reimagined as some kind of divine ordinance. And the phrase "for me to poop on" has transcended comedy and entered cosmology. Every civilization, it seems, produces its trickster to handle what just can't be spoken. Loki in Asgard, Hermes in Olympus, Anansi in the web. Ours produced Triumph, the dog who chewed the leg of propriety. But here's the thing. Tricksters are custodians of the boundary between creation and chaos. They play with power but never actually hold it. When they do, the joke curdles into a curse. Trump is that curse. The trickster became the theocrat of trash. The leak that once served laughter now sanctifies domination. What Triumph did for catharsis, Trump does for control. The cosmic sewer still flows, but its outlets have been reversed. The excretion no longer relieves the body politic, it actually baptizes it in waste. Triumph's comedy thrived in the era of irony, when mockery could still be medicine. His catchphrase was a disinfectant for hypocrisy, a simple poop on it that restored equilibrium to a bloated culture. But irony, like any purgative, loses potency through overuse. When the culture of mockery becomes the culture itself, the medicine turns toxic. Trump's ascent marks the moment irony collapsed into hyperstition, when the joke, repeated often enough, became reality. So, "For me to poop on" was once just a punchline, but now it's a policy. What started out as catharsis somehow became a creed. The dog's fantasy of dominance became the man's doctrine of rule. The laughter, it stopped being laughter, it kind of became allegiance. In a world where everything is spectacle, even excretion acquires sanctity. The king learned to weaponize the fool's relief. The flush became command. Trump's scatological memes are not just vulgarities. They are sacraments of a new digital theology. The golden toilet, the jet-dropping feces, the constant rhetoric of filth, vermin, infestation, these form a lexicon of purification by projection. So, the leader, he defines himself as the excretor, the purifier, while his enemies become the excreted. The meme of shit from the sky is kind of the natural endpoint of this century-long sacrament, the sovereign as sewer. And it actually works because it feels clean. The jet stays spotless, the pilot is totally untarnished, and all that waste is just aimed downward. It's like a perfect icon of bourgeois hygiene. Project filth outward to prove your own purity. The meme is both priestly and, pornographic. A fantasy of cleanliness that's achieved through some spectacular expulsion. But this fantasy, like every flush, risks reversal. Sewers back up, pipes burst. Every act of projection leaves residue. In the triumphant cosmology, the puppet could joke and walk away. In Trump's, the waste clings to the crown. Triumph's humor drew on the ancient carnival, that ritual inversion where peasants mocked kings and order briefly dissolved into laughter. It was renewal through rot. But when Trump performs the inversion, he does it from above. He no longer participates in the carnival. He stages it as punishment. The laughter is no longer mutual. It is directed, weaponized, vertical. The king drops excrement on the crowd and calls it comedy. Thus the carnival's power to renew collapses into cruelty. Laughter ceases to be relief and becomes domination. The jest has been enthroned. The fool has mistaken his performance for revelation. And yet, somewhere in the cultural drainage system, Triumph's voice still echoes, a barking relic of when mockery still purified rather than poisoned. He remains the last honest priest of laughter, a reminder that satire is a digestive act, not a divine one. He mocked to equalize, not to enthrone. He pooped metaphorically to let the audience exhale. The king now poops literally to make the audience kneel. In this reversal lies the tragedy of our media theology. We mistook irony for immunity, laughter for liberty, the joke for judgment. From Atum spitting the world into being to Luther's pamphlets depicting popes excreting heresy to Joyce's Bloom on the toilet, to a latex dog with a cigar, and finally to a golden-crowned jet raining filth. Our civilizational theology has always been about flow. We flush to live, we excrete to mean. Every age has its leak, every leak its liturgy. Trump's meme is only the latest verse in that psalm of waste, the sacred flush turned fascist gesture. What began as laughter has become law. The fool has flown too high, the king believes he is clean, the sewer hums beneath us all. They laughed when Triumph dropped his line, a scatological slap to pride's behind. But now the king rides skies alone, the poop is real, and he's on the throne. The pipes still sing their hymn below, of mock and muck, of flux and flow. And in that echo, dark yet kind, we hear the laugh the gods left behind.